Ted, a Catholic priest sentenced to prison for sexually abusing a 10-year-old boy, is looking to overturn his conviction. 75-year-old Robert Poandl was of the Fairfield-based Glen Mary Home Missions. The victim was in 1991. Poandl woke him up in the middle of the night while on a trip and then raped him. Poandl's new attorneys have actually raised an interesting argument in the 6th Circuit Court. They say a Catholic priest accused of pedophilia cannot receive a fair trial after widespread publicity of sex abuse scandals. Now, this is something that other sex abuse victims simply don't buy.
Like this?
I can't think of why anybody would put themselves through an emotional turmoil and just turn your life upside down just to make a frivolous claim.
If an appeals court agrees with the new lawyer's take on this, he could get a new trial. So you can go to our website at WCPO.com and read more about this case and the other pieces of evidence there that the defense plans to use in this new trial. Tamika.
Well, a sigh of relief for Republicans in Georgia. GOP candidate Karen Mandel won the election. She defeated Democrat John Ossoff and secured her party's nearly 40-year stronghold on a hotly contested Atlanta suburb. Many are calling the race a referendum on the president's policies.
And a special thanks to the President of the United States of America.
President Trump tweeted 3 times in 24 hours in support of the Republican candidate. The candidate spent an historic $50 million on this campaign. Happening today, the Georgia inmates accused of killing 2 corrections officers and escaping will be in court. Donnie Rowe and Ricky DeBose will make their first appearance since they were captured. Their escape led to a days-long manhunt until they were eventually caught in Tennessee.
Nothing that you have to pay for, okay? You got to say that right off the bat.
And new this hour, the warning signs that you need to look out for before pushy salespeople take off with your money.
I'm Paola. New this morning why you may want to lock it before you put it in your pocket. An increase in pocket dials here at the Hamilton County Department of Communications, leaving them saying it's a waste of time and resources.
You're watching Good Morning Tri-State at 6 on 9 on your side.
We're back at 6:14 right now. Hope you're off to a great start this morning. You know, everybody does it, right? They pocket dials a parent, a friend, or, possibly even 911.
Yeah, but those accidents could be costing resources and lives. New this morning, 9 on your side's Paolo Suro shows us what dispatchers have to do if they receive those calls.
Hey, Danny, my hands. 911 emergency.
From a child's voice to muffled noises. Those are dead ends, leaving 911 dispatchers searching for answers.
Do you have an emergency? No, it must have been pocket dial. I did not call.
A pocket dial could take time and resources away from dispatchers here at the Hamilton County Department of Communications. Anywhere from 90 seconds to 3 minutes per call.
Probably 30 to 50 so far today.
And with each call, dispatchers stay on the line to figure out if it's an emergency and send a police officer accordingly.
911, we received a hang-up call.
And if they can't hear anything, operators call back to check out the situation.
While we're in the process of doing that, we're not available for incoming call traffic. So that's where it poses a problem to us.
If it's busy and we know there's other calls to get to, it can get frustrating.
Dispatchers say the increase of pocket dials come from the rise in technology. A lot of calls coming from smartwatches to phones in pockets and even children playing with devices.
As long as it has a charge, it can call 911. Be aware of that.
So they ask, if you accidentally call 911, let the operator know it was an accident. Don't hang up. Also, get to know your devices and lock it before you pocket. Paolo Suro, 9 on your side.
Lock it before you pocket. Good tip right there, Paolo. I appreciate it. How about this? Tropical Storm Cindy is on its way here. Does that literally mean to Cincinnati, Jennifer Ketchmark?
The remnants of Cindy.
All right. The National Hurricane Center says the tropical storm is in the Gulf of Mexico currently. Parts of Louisiana and the Texas coast, though, they are under the tropical storm warnings. It's the first time since 1968 that 2 storms have been named at the same time in the month of June. That was because Tropical Storm Brent was moving through the Caribbean a little bit earlier. We were talking about that. But with that said, so we could get a ton of rain or a little bit of rain because of this?
Over an inch could come out of this system.
That's a good amount of storm, yeah.
But that pales in comparison to down in Louisiana where they've got pockets that could see 8 to 10.
You feel bad for them.
Yeah, so flash flooding concerns there. Here at home, we'll be looking at our own threat of heavy rain, especially as we head into Friday. But Chris, for today, not looking too shabby out there as we're just starting the day with, well, first, Look at the sunrise. You guys know I love me a good sunrise in the early morning hours. Here at 6:17, the sun has officially risen there over the horizon. Beautiful look here in downtown. It is 65 degrees as we kick off the day. Not too shabby for a Wednesday, but there are a few little showers out there, mainly west of downtown right now. And you can see this rain is not significant, but it has made its way all the way over into Delhi. Now with this that's left, maybe some sprinkles by the time it gets down to the ground, also out toward Harrison and then crossing the state line there into southeast Indiana. Speaking of Indiana, even a few little showers out between Napoleon and Batesville. Nothing, though, of great significance to where it would actually impact your morning drive. So for the morning commute, we're good to go. Couple sprinkles, mainly, though, partly cloudy skies, temperatures in the mid to low 60s. Then this afternoon, 87. A lot of the day will just be warmer, a little bit more humid and mainly dry. But then later this afternoon, I can't rule out an isolated storm popping into our eastern spots. And this is the main area. If we were to see a new thunderstorm popping, that's where it's going to be, in that marginal risk of severe weather today. But even within the marginal risk, this is not a guaranteed chance for rain. This is only a 20% chance for rain out there. So rather minor, but we'll keep an eye on it because if there were a stronger storm, it might have some damaging winds associated with it. Tomorrow, temperatures again, mid 80s, pop-up showers and thunderstorms will return. It's a much greater chance for everyone tomorrow in that more warm, but also greater humidity in tomorrow's forecast. That's where you're really going to notice that it feels rather sticky outside. So by 2 to 2:30 tomorrow afternoon, we'll definitely have the pop-up showers and thunderstorms that are here continuing through the evening drive. But if you want to talk about what's coming in with those post-tropical remnants of Cindy, yes, lots of words, but basically the leftovers of Tropical Storm Cindy will make their way and push a lot of moisture into the Ohio Valley for Friday. Cindy, that area of low pressure will actually stay well to our south, but all that tropical moisture is thrown our way, ensuring very heavy rains on Friday. A cold front's interacting with that, which is just enhancing the rain that we'll see out of this system. 1 to 2 inches of rain cannot be ruled out here locally. We're still trying to pinpoint exactly where the heavy rain is going to fall. So Jacqueline, more details will come on that weekend forecast, but first let's get people out the door. Maybe some sun delays to come here soon.
Yeah, so that's something that I'll watch for on our traffic cameras in a little bit. But for now, we do have a new problem spot that just popped up on our 9 First Warning traffic map in the Evendale area. So it looks like we do have a water main break on Exxon Avenue right here at Reading Road. So just a heads up if you're going to be out and about in that portion of the Evendale area. Now, if you're away from your screen, take a look at this beautiful sunrise that we have right here on our traffic camera, 7175 right around Turfway. So a very nice view of our beautiful sunrise this morning, and traffic flow also looking good down in northern Kentucky. The same thing goes for our drive times all across the board. We are in the green, so really just that water main break in Evendale is that problem spot this morning.
All right, Jacqueline, thank you so much. When it comes to house fires, you may think of space heaters, but you might not necessarily think about air conditioners as a possible cause.
Experts say it happens more than you think. ABC's David Kearley has the details in the GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, this 2-alarm fire in Tampa, Florida at an apartment complex caused not by a kitchen fire nor a candle, but an air conditioner. When the temperature rises, experts say it could put a strain on air conditioners, and if not well maintained, they can become fire hazards.
If they are overworked and overheated, or there's some electrical issues, it can catch nearby combustibles on fire.
From 2010 to 2014, there were an average of 2,800 reports of home structure fires involving air conditioners, causing an average of 20 deaths, 140 injuries, and $82 million in property damage a year. And coming up at 7 a.m., a live demonstration on what can happen when your air conditioner catches on fire. With your GMA First Look, I'm David Kearley, ABC News, Gaithersburg, Maryland.
This is my body of proof.
Proof of less joint pain.
And clearer skin.
This is my body of proof that I can take on psoriatic arthritis.
With Humira.
Humira works by targeting and helping to block a specific source of inflammation that contributes to both joint and skin symptoms. It's proven to help relieve pain, stop further joint damage, and clear skin in many adults. Humira is the #1 prescribed biologic for psoriatic arthritis.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Want more proof? Ask your rheumatologist about Humira.
What's your body of proof?
You're watching Good Morning Tri-State at 6 on 9 on your side.
Overdose calls in Middletown are on pace to double from last year.
You know, this year, the city has responded to more than 500 overdoses. 51 of them have been deadly. Fentanyl and carfentanil continues to eat into the city's Narcan supply. In fact, Chief saying now that 2 milligrams of Narcan typically is used during a normal overdose. Victims, they're using up to 5 times that amount. Chief Lawley says that this battle isn't fought by first responders alone.
We need people to be vigilant. We need people to pay attention to what's going on the streets and call the police and say, hey, I noticed this drug activity going on my street. I noticed this, I noticed that. And when everybody comes together and help solve this problem, that's what's going to put the big dent in what's going on.
The chief says they average 4 to 6 opioid overdose runs each day. Senate Republicans determined to pass a bill next week on the repeal and replace of the Affordable Care Act, but only a handful of people have actually seen the idea. What is in it? Well, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says the big reveal will come tomorrow. It's not clear if President Trump has seen it as of yet. For weeks, the Senate Republicans have negotiated behind closed doors. There have been no hearings or no public debate to this point.
New this morning, as summer arrives, the Better Business Bureau says expect to see more and more salespeople at your front door. These visitors can sometimes get a little pushy. The BBB says never feel pressured to sign up for something when a sales rep comes to your door.
Take their information, do some homework, check them out, and also get bids from other companies.
You should also be aware of sellers who do not have ties to the community. Traveling salespeople may often enter and exit the area very quickly without delivering you promises that you've paid for.
We're following breaking news of a shooting in Deer Park this morning. What we've learned about the victims and why police say this was not random.
And social media is a part of modern life, right? And it's playing a part in former UC officer Ray Tensing's retrial. Coming up next, we're going to talk to a UD law professor about how it could impact the jury. You're watching Good Morning Tri-State.
Welcome back at 6:29. Breaking news: an incident at a cafe leads to a drive-by shooting in Deer Park. What police are saying about your safety after the violence.
And remembering Otto Warmbier, the tribute's being held around the country for the Tri-State native. Plus,
all right, Northern Kentucky students getting the help they need to graduate. How their success is saving you money.
And more on the Ray Tensing retrial as jurors continue to deliberate. How social media is playing a factor, possibly, in their decision.
9 on your side starts now.
Good morning, Tri-State. Alongside Tamika Artist, I'm Chris Riva. We're bringing you the newest information on breaking news. There's been a drive-by shooting in Deer Park that sent 2 men to the hospital.
That's right. 9 on your side's Kristen Swilley is live in Blue Ash now. Blue Ash Road where this happened. Kristen, how has this scene changed since we saw you at 4 o'clock this morning?
Yeah, well, Tamika, I can tell you a lot fewer police cars out here, but reinforced caution tape as the investigative process really gets going down here. They've cleared out most of the initial scene, but they have moved in their detectives at this point to gather some more information throughout the morning. Now, this all started, police say, from a drive-by shooting that stemmed from an argument at Car Rock Cafe just a couple of yards down from here just past midnight. The 2 men, 21 and 22 years old, were shot here near the camp safety equipment again on Blue Ash Road. Right now their conditions are unknown and no arrests have been made, but police do believe the community is safe and no one who lives nearby has any reason to be concerned about their personal safety because, again, police do believe that this was targeted. Now, again, this portion of Blue Ash Road has been closed throughout the entire morning since we got here around 4 a.m. They are warning people not to come down this way. Again, they do have this double enforced at this point because there was a little bit of an incident earlier where someone drove right through it. So they've got that reinforced. They've got some flares down the road as well. The 8000 block of Blue Ash Road. Reporting live in Deer Park this morning. Kristen Swilley, 9 on your side.
Kristen, thank you. Let's turn our attention to our forecast now. 9 First Morning meteorologist Jennifer Ketchmark standing by. What a beautiful sunrise we're seeing right now.
Yeah, nice start to the day, Chris, and humidity not too bad yet.
Great, especially when we're out at the courthouse later today.
Yeah, you guys, you're going to have some warmer days ahead, especially if those jury deliberations continue, because tomorrow is going to be a little more sweltering out there. But for right now, temperatures are mild in the mid to low 60s, and we are picking up a few isolated showers, but any of that rain chance that's with us early this morning will be fading here shortly over about the next hour to hour and a half. So no worries there. It'd be sprinkles anyways. Then temperatures rise quickly today, 87, so a warmer day. Humidity is up as well, just a little bit. If we were to see some isolated storms developing this afternoon, it would be east of Cincinnati. And even there, it's a 10 to 15% chance. Not a great chance, but still something that I want to make sure I mention before you head out the door this morning. Now, what we're seeing is a cold front that's stalling out here locally. That's today's rainmaker, and the potential at least for some rain. But this is the bigger story, that what is now Tropical Storm Cindy going to make its way onto the coast there near Louisiana and Texas by early tomorrow morning. Now, the remnants of this system, and they're making a beeline for the tri-state. I'll show you how much rain we could see out of this system ahead. But first, let's check in with Jacqueline on some traffic issues as you head out the door this morning.
Yeah, so we do have one issue that has popped up on our big board this morning. Still out there over in the Evendale area. So if you're going to be on Exxon right around Reading Road, we do have reports of a water main break there. So just a little bit of a heads up if you're going to be out and about in that area this morning. But otherwise, our big board isn't looking too bad. We'll check back in on those drive times for you as the morning commute really starts to heat up here in the next 15 minutes or so.
6:33 is the time right now, and there are new tributes for Otto Warmbier in his hometown this morning, 2 days after he died after being imprisoned in North Korea. The sign outside the Wyoming Civic Center reads, "Wyoming's thoughts and prayers are with the Warmbier family." Warmbier was in a coma when he returned to the U.S. from North Korea last week. He had been imprisoned for more than a year after allegedly stealing a poster while in the country. The University of Virginia held a candlelight vigil for him last night. He went to school there and was a junior by the time his detention in North Korea. Student council held the vigil, saying it was an opportunity for those on campus to remember him and to come together. Well, that is the sound of Delhi Township christening a new firehouse. Fire Station 36 on Greenwell Avenue is just a few blocks away from the old station, which served the department for 60 years. The color guard and bagpipes led a procession from the old firehouse to the new one. The fire chief says their equipment outgrew the old one, so they had to move on.
I think we run a fabulous fire department. All in told, this is something that's well deserved.
Well, this is the first new firehouse in Delhi Township since 2003. New this morning, some Northern Kentucky students are waking up with their high school diplomas. They graduated last night from Boone County's Imagineering Academy, an alternative school. 9 on your side's Lisa Smith shows us the amazing way that some of these students are excelling and beating the odds.
I didn't see myself ever doing this, to be honest.
Noah only had 2 credits when he arrived at Boone County's Imagineering Academy, an alternative school.
In those 6 months, I got 17 credits with straight A's.
He found his passion in construction, building playhouses, one in particular for a young disabled girl.
I learned that I can help others and feel emotion off of it. I get something out of seeing other people happy.
His mom says the alternative school was perfect for him.
And here, they allowed him to be him.
School officials believe they've come up with a way to, instead of killing the dream, they kill the doubt so that the kids can be successful.
So many people have told these kids what they're going to be. That's part of it. We break them out of that.
Like Brandon Judy.
I was having so many problems, I was honestly contemplating, potentially dropping out.
When his father passed away, teachers helped him through, and then he ended up helping develop a way to keep laparoscopic surgical lenses clear.
I learned a lot going to meeting with the doctors, I got speaking skills out of it.
Brandon plans to go to college, and Noah is already working full-time.
I'm one proud mama, that's for sure.
In Florence, Lisa Smith, 9 on your side.
Lisa, thank you. Social media plays big parts in all aspects of life these days. In fact, potential jurors were dismissed in the Ray Tensing case for what they posted on Facebook. Joining me now is Thaddeus Hoffmeister. He's a UD law professor and author of Social Media Law in a nutshell. We appreciate the time this morning in studio. We begin with the jury selection process in the second trial for Ray Tensing. A couple of potential jurors were dismissed because of Facebook posts. Is this becoming more common practice?
Yes, Chris, it is. What you see more and more are attorneys looking in the background, the social media backgrounds of jurors in order to pick jurors who are going to be most favorable to their clients.
Well, in this one case, one of the potential jurors was dismissed. It was from a 2015 post, so they had to kind of go back on that timeline quite a bit. To trying the case, does it change the way the prosecution goes about things, or the defense?
Well, exactly. You're exactly right on that. It does change things. Many people believe that attorneys are looking for impartial jurors. They're not really looking for impartial jurors. They're looking for jurors who are going to side with their clients, whether the government or the defense. And so sometimes what you see is attorneys will actually play up to interests that jurors may have expressed on social media.
How do you, I've often wondered, in this case, the jury sequestered now, in the Tensing case. This is a retrial. Every day we are doing some type of story on this. During the trial, they weren't sequestered. How do they not go home and hear comments, see comments, look comments, even when they're instructed not to do that?
Well, I think historically they did this anyways. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who spent 8 hours a day someplace and not talk to their spouse about what happened. The difference here is, I think, people now have a record of that. You have a digital trail. So I think it still happens. Although they're instructed not to do so, they're instructed not to watch media, it is very difficult in this day and age, the way we're wedded to our devices and we're wedded to social media, to refrain from going on there and looking. So I think it still occurs.
Is that a good or a bad thing? I don't know. I just picture myself sitting in the jury box during this jury selection process, and they come back to a post that I made from 2 years ago. I'd almost feel like I did something wrong. But is it a good or a bad thing?
No, I don't think with respect to attorneys looking at what jurors wrote is a bad thing. I think attorneys are just reflecting what society does. If you apply for a job, your employer is going to do that. If you try to rent a home, even the landlord's going to do that. So that's just a growing trend that you see. And also on the inverse, you see actual jurors doing the same thing. So I just think that's the age we live in today.
How can a judge enforce instructions when she tells them not to look at social media?
Well, Chris, there's the challenge there, is because as we know, there's ways to get around instructions, there's ways to avoid being seen. I think what you want to do, what a judge wants to do, is to get jurors to buy into the process. You want them to understand the why. And why we don't want jurors doing that is because they're going to see information that may or may not be true. We want the jurors to make decisions based only on the evidence that they see in the courtroom.
You're a law professor. Will this case be part of class come fall?
It depends. It depends what the verdict is, and it's a possibility because there are some challenges here in defining what exactly is murder and what is voluntary manslaughter.
We appreciate the insight as we all are now waiting for a verdict in this case. Thaddeus, appreciate the time.
Thank you, Chris.
All right.
Well, the Cincinnati streetcar will be carrying more than people today. How you can help Tri-State kids heading to preschool.